और मैं स्वागत उद्बोधन के लिए अनुरोध करूंगी डॉक्टर राजीव जी से। कृपया पधारें और वेलकम नोट दें।
First of all, on behalf of ICC, it's my pleasure to welcome our esteemed guests on the dais. A warm welcome to Shri Sanjay Bhoosreddy ji, who doesn't need any introduction. He is a visionary bureaucrat and man of action. He has a long list of achievements in his track record at the national level and of course at the state level. And now he is there in his new role as chairman of UP RERA. So we are truly honored and happy to have you, sir, with us. A warm welcome to Shri Balkar Singh ji. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us. Of course, our partner, Mr. ANUJ Puri, Chairman and Founder, ANAROCK Group, and all the speakers who will be addressing us during the day. A quick word about ICC. ICC was founded in 1925, and only last year we completed 100 years. Many people would not know, most of the national chambers actually in some form or the other were part of ICC. I won't name some of them, but either they were part of ICC or they were founded by ICC. Almost practically 25 to 30 leading chambers, including 2 or 3 large national bodies. ICC has a legacy of championing the cause of industry. West Bengal, which has seen a very recent change in the government. ICC is headquartered in Bengal, and that of course brings huge positivity for the state. And coming from Bengal to UP, I of course feel really happy because I was born in UP. Of course now I work in Bengal. So there is a special bonding which exists at the personal level. And of course, Bengal and UP also has historic and a very deep people-to-people and cultural relationship which has been there. But quickly coming back to the topic of today's session, I think today UP stands as a role model of governance. The same state which people had given up, people had a feeling that this state probably will never be able to recover, keeping in mind the potential the state has, the land mass, people, resources. But in last few terms, the government has really transformed the state. And the governance model is not only recognized, celebrated at the national level. When we as ICC travel abroad, I think globally also people recognize the potential of UP. While India talks of reaching a certain goal, becoming a developed state in terms of 5 trillion economy, I think UP definitely will play a bigger role and contribute, if not more, at least 1 trillion to this ambitious target. And of course, UP has potential to do much more. When we speak of governance, I think RERA brought similar kind of governance to the real estate sector, and it has also done wonders for the real estate space in UP. Uttar Pradesh today stands at the forefront of real estate transformation with over 4,192 projects registered under UP RERA, including 308 projects in 2025 and more than 100 in the early months of this year, that is 2026. One of the things which is very heartening that it is not, let's say, development around NCR only. We see development all across the states. There are 3-4 prominent growth centers which are driving this growth, and that indicates that it's not a tilted growth. It's a widespread and a shared growth for the state, for different regions in the state, and for the people at large. Of course, iconic projects like Jewar Airport, the Purvodaya Express, industrial corridors are going to transform state rapidly, and we all will be witnessing huge and unprecedented change in next 1 decade. The growth will not be happening in any one part, but this will be widespread because the way connectivity is evolving, the state will really have an overall growth. Cities like Ayodhya, Prayagraj, even the smaller towns are showing promise, of course, with the industrial corridor, and real estate sector is directly connected with what's happening overall in the economy, infrastructure, connectivity, investments, and that is how you see the real estate sector keeping pace with the growth of the state. We have experts from the real estate space with us. I'm sure they will be talking about the subject in greater detail. But one thing I can say, with the right kind of governance, with the safety of capital, with the confidence of investors, with the predictability of the policies, this sector has huge potential to grow, and we all will be a part of that growth. With these words, I will stop here. But before I end, I would like to thank the ANAROCK Group for being our partner, for helping, guiding us throughout, and we look forward to a long-term partnership. With this, I once again welcome all the guests, the esteemed guests on the dais, and of course our guests in the audience, and I wish you very, very fruitful deliberations. Please network. I'm sure you know many people in the room, but please meet everybody, build your networks, and ICC is always there to handhold and be with you. Thank you.
और इसके बाद मैं अनुरोध करूंगी, हमारे बीच मंचासीन हैं डॉक्टर बलकार सिंह जी, आईएएस, यूपी हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन प्लानिंग कमिश्नर, बेहद ही सक्रिय और ऊर्जावान अधिकारी हैं जिन्होंने विकास के क्षेत्र में अनेक आयाम स्थापित किए हैं। जोरदार तालियों के माध्यम से आपका स्वागत।
Respected Sanjay Bhoosreddy sir, respected Rajeev Singh ji, Director General, Indian Chamber of Commerce, respected Shri ANUJ PURI ji, Chairman and Founder ANAROCK Group, all the organizers of this program, ladies and gentlemen and media persons. First of all, I congratulate Indian Chamber of Commerce for having this UP Real Estate Summit 2026. This is the platform where We can discuss the issues faced by the real estate, the development done by the state in real estate as well as other sectors, and what are the opportunities in future for the development of UP and the nation. So if we talk about real estate, housing and urban planning is the important department from that angle, because under this department only there is UP Housing and Development Board. There are the different development authorities, maybe LDA, maybe KDA, GDA, every development authority and regulated areas and special development authorities. All these organizations come under housing and urban planning, and even administrative department for UP RERA is also the housing department. So whatever is the direction given by or suggestion given by UP RERA, that has to be implemented through this department only. So if we see the development and the target of government of UP for having 1 trillion economy, so housing, real estate and urban development is the indicator of development of any state or the nation. So if we see the NCR region is mainly driven by Noida Development Authority, Greater Noida Development Authority, Yamuna Authority, and Ghaziabad and other nearby districts are covered by the housing. So UP has done a lot in NCR region. If you have seen the state, that region of the UP, maybe 20-25 years back, one of my friend from Bihar cadre was telling that if you, sometimes people criticize UP that the development is not taking place, but what he was saying, if you see 25 years back and compare UP and Bihar, they were almost at same level. But whatever may be the political situation, whatever may be the situation, the bureaucrats of the UP, the political leadership of the UP have developed Greater Noida, Noida and Yamuna. So that credit goes to whole system of the Uttar Pradesh. So real estate sector is very important in that area, and now the people, they are even thinking of having the houses in Noida, Greater Noida, and working in Delhi or other regions of NCR, mainly because of the good connectivity. Metro connectivity is there, other expressways are also there, and due to functioning or start of this Jewar airport, so this sector has really been a very important factor in the development of the whole nation, not only UP or the NCR region. Similarly, if we see the other areas of Uttar Pradesh, especially during 2010 and 11, there was almost a complete blockade on acquisition of land because of the issues related to farmers. And in UP, I think that was the main point where there were political agitations, and there was requirement that this act has to be changed. So for 3-4 years, nothing could be done. Then the new act came. Every development authority, any government agency, they were with the impression that the land is getting really very costly, and how we will sell the product and how we will run our organization if we purchase land at this rate. So there was gap. The government was almost not functioning in this sector for many years, maybe from 2010-11 to 2016. So then this private developers came, and there were many issues with the, especially when the delivery to the home buyers was not done as promised by the builders. So the government felt the need of RERA, and there was control on the situation, and now whomsoever is the serious builder, they are only existing in the market. So over a period of time, then government also realized that it is very difficult for having or purchasing or acquiring the land at 2 times or 4 times of the circle rate. So then the scheme of development of housing in the name of Mukhya Mantri Shahri Vistarikaran or Shahri Vistarikaran or New Shahar Vistar Yojana was started by government of UP 4 years back, and under that scheme, the 50% of the cost of land acquisition was given by the state government to any development authority or the special development authority or maybe the housing board also. So due to that, even small development authorities, they also started acquiring the land as per the new act, giving 2 times or 4 times of the circle rate to the farmers. So the farmers were also happy, and in many places, farmers themselves, they come and request for acquiring their lands because they are getting very good price. So due to this, many authorities developed many schemes. Even in Lucknow, 2 schemes are being started by LDA, Namish Nagar, and one is Varun Vihar. They are very big schemes. Maybe one scheme is around 2,500 acre, one is around 2,000 acre. And Awas Vikas is also having 2 schemes. Similarly, Bareilly Development Authority, being the smaller development authority, due to this scheme, they were able to have the housing scheme, and now they are in a profitable situation and they are acquiring land at their own rates. Similarly, Gorak Development Authority and Housing Board also has Housing Board has also started the schemes in districts which were never touched by us, like district Pratapgarh. In Pratapgarh, we are about to launch the scheme within 2-3 months because around 70% of the land has been purchased by us. In district like Mau, Azamgarh, Chitrakoot, Banda, and Basti, such type of places which were not having any housing scheme, they are also being developed. And the idea behind such development is that if there is no scheme at the district headquarters or any big town, tier 2 town, tier 3 town, so people do think of shifting to Lucknow or maybe the NCR region, and there is lot of pressure, and it is very difficult for Lucknow or even NCR to have the housing facility for all the residents of UP. So this scheme will prevent migration to NCR and Lucknow region, plus they will have their families nearby, and in the district headquarters they will have very good facilities of staying, school, hotel, hospital, everything. So this scheme has really helped a lot in having the real estate market in the whole state across the regions. In addition to that, there is state capital region concept in Lucknow. It is already, the master plan is being developed for all the 6 districts of Lucknow region, and there is Vanaras and Vindhyachal region, special economic region is also there, and there are other growth hubs which will work on this pattern. So by this, and second, in form of infrastructure, like lot of expressways, highways, and lot of airports, maybe smaller airports, big airports. UP is having maximum number of airports and maximum number of and largest network of the expressways. So this facility will be utilized. We will, every development authority, maybe special development authority or the Awas Vikas Parishad, we are having a policy of acquiring the land on the areas which are not covered by the Abadi, which are on very strategic location, and we will develop the township there so that the people can save time and we can take advantage of the expressways which have been built by the government. And not only having the houses, now there is feeling in the housing department also that earlier it was a concept that industry will develop industry and housing will develop housing, but now there is a mix of everything. Like commercial space has to be there, and even smaller industries, non-polluting industries, they have also been established by the housing authorities. In case of Awas Vikas Parishad, we can say that there is one 32 acre, there is one in the at the place where there was Defense Expo. There is International Convention and Exhibition Center that has been awarded to the contractor under EPC mode, and 32-acre land will be given by Awasthi Parishad, and around 1,500 is the cost of construction that has been awarded to the contractor, and work has started in Lucknow Vrindavan scheme. And near to that, there are many places where hotels and other things can also be hotels or maybe commercial spaces, they have been planned. So in addition to this, because IT is generally concentrated in UP, in NCR region, so state government was of the view that even the development authorities and housing board should also plan something for IT, especially in Lucknow and maybe later on in some other districts like Gorakhpur, like Banaras or Kanpur or Ghaziabad. So under that, we planned around 250 acre in Vrindavan scheme, and we launched the many plots for IT. But we were having no criteria of defining the price of IT. So our IT price was as equal as the institutional. That means 1.5 times of the housing. But bidders did not came because the price was high. So later on, we reduced the price equal to housing. There were many queries, but ultimately no one came. So then the state government made recently one policy for having AICT and business park policy. Under that policy, any government agency, maybe UP-SIDA, maybe any development authority, maybe Awasthi Parishad, they will give land on lease to the IT players, and that will be on the public-private partnership. The minimum criteria of coming in bid is like 5% of the total cost of that project, that land, and 7% of the total revenue is the minimum bid criteria. So under that scheme, UP Housing Board is the first state government organization. We have planned 21 acre near this International Convention and Exhibition Center, where 21 acre will be floated, RFP will be floated within 2-3 days for having IT development, AICT under PPP mode. I think by having such type of initiatives, maybe we will face some problems because it is very difficult to establish IT in new areas, but if some good player comes, we will be in a situation that maybe after few years, Lucknow will be a very good important center for the IT, because most of the manpower, human resource for IT is from UP. But for working, they have to go outside, maybe Bangalore, maybe Hyderabad, or maybe somewhat in NCR region. But after having this facility, maybe we will develop this facility in Lucknow region and later on in other cities. So I think this workshop, this summit will help a lot for the development of Uttar Pradesh, and I again thank Indian Chamber of Commerce for having this summit. Thank you. Jai Hind.
So, thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. I now request respected Mr. Sanjay R. Bhoosreddy, sir, Chairman UP RERA, for the theme address. जोरदार तालियों से आपका स्वागत करेंगे.
Honorable dignitaries on the dais, my good friend, Secretary Housing and Housing Commissioner Balkar Singh ji, my very old friend Dr. Rajeev Puri, whom I know since '95 when I had first come from field to Lucknow. I had met recently ANUJ Puri, but in a Delhi conference, but I'm quite impressed with him, and he has so much of data that he can speak to you on real estate data for the whole day. You have a good panel on the dais, and I hope this ICC conference, which is being organized at Lucknow, I had requested Ms. Verma that you should, apart from Delhi, you should also look towards UP. And now UP is a happening state, which everybody now recognizes. And she was kind enough, she agreed, she had taken approvals from the headquarter ICC at Calcutta. I know, as Rajeev ji had said, that ICC being one of the oldest, and perhaps this was started on the initiative or the push or nudge by our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji. Very few people knows that Gandhi ji also had a role in the industrial environment which exists today in the country. Many people may not be knowing, Gandhi ji had requested in those days the big families, wealthy families, Birla ji, Bajaj Sahab, Jamnalal Bajaj ji, because I was part of the sugar sector, he said, please go and start a sugar mill in Lakhimpur Kheri near the forest. So Bajaj has 2 sugar mills in the extreme end of Lakhimpur Kheri. Can you imagine in 30s and 40s what would have been in Lakhimpur Kheri? Even the town of Lakhimpur Kheri was a very small town. He had asked them to go and start 2 mills on the borders of Indo-Nepal. Similarly, he had asked Birla ji to start mills in remote corners. He had asked 1 mill to be started in Bihar, which is there in Bihar, and 1 which is the oldest mill is in Devariya of Jamnalal, started by Jamnalal Bajaj ji. So these organizations, we don't realize unless until we go into the history that every organization with good intentions and motives, they do good work. Today we have met here to discuss about the real estate sector. All of us know that since the October-November of 2023, real estate sector has started looking up from its downward trends. It has now started looking up. It had started looking up in the end of the year of 2023, and then there is no looking back. Today in NCR, the real estate sector prices have gone up by roughly 200 to 260%, which is quite a price. Many people feel the pinch also, but that is how the markets operate. See, as Chairman RERA or any chairman of Real Estate Regulatory Authority have 3 functions. The chairman or the authority per se. One is to bring in investment as much as possible, because unless and until we bring investment through investors, housing stock cannot get developed on its own. We have realized, not now, but in 2000, that governmental development authorities have a limited role to play in the development of housing stock, because government has its own way of functioning. There was requirement of big money to pump in for housing stock, and then between 2000 to 2003 we came up with various policies of high-tech township, integrated township, and all those schemes, so that private players may come in, pump money, develop housing stocks, and take the development aspect in real estate sector forward. Unfortunately, some very good players had come, who are now also big players, whom I had seen in 2003-04 as a very new company, but now they are a very established company. But some fly-by-night operators also came. So one of our aspect is to bring investors, investment, develop housing stock, or create an environment in the development of housing stock. Number 2, to adjudicate between the 3 stakeholders, the promoter, the home buyer, and the agent, if there is a dispute. And third job is to do advocacy, to teach people, to tell the promoters what they should do, what they should not do, to teach the home buyers how they should go when they are looking for a house for themselves. What do's and don'ts they should do, see, what prudence they should adopt, or what due diligence they should do. And third, regarding advocacy, our job is to teach all of them. So these are the three major roles given to any RERA by the Act of Parliament of 2016. It's a beautiful act. People say, many people criticize that it's a weak act. But I would say, whatever it is, RERAs can still do very good job. I don't believe in very strong acts, because very strong acts gives rise to authoritarianism in that institution, which may lead to very arbitrary decisions, A. Second, it may also lead to corruption in that organization. And therefore, whatever the lawmakers have given, the act is sufficient to take care of the present problems. Number two, they have delegated the power to the state government to make rules. Every state government has made their rules. UP was one of the first to make, not only UP but many more, in 2016, the UP real estate rules, which is quite elaborate and very balanced, very equitable as the act is. Similarly, the rules of 2018, which is the builder-buy agreement, which is the fulcrum and the balancer between the home buyer and the promoter. It defines everything. I would request that the promoters now are who are left out after the advent of the Real Estate Act and this regulator in place are all serious players. All fly-by-night operators have run away because they know now their project will not get registered because of the very fine scrutiny done by the RERAs. I don't know about the other RERAs, how deep they go into, but we do due diligence to the last point required, not beyond that. Because regulation also should have a boundary condition. Otherwise, you start regulating so much that it would discourage investment. So we have to balance between the regulatory aspects, the home buyer and the investor and the investment. I think UP RERA has been doing a fantastic job with very small team. You'd be surprised, the total team from me to my peon is only 45. And UP RERA is the only RERA in the country which has a bench at NCR. So you can imagine, out of this 45, 22 sit there, 23 sit here. So with this small team, but they are a highly professional team, they are very capable team, and they are doing really wonders. And because of that, as Rajeev ji had said, that we used to approve around 150 projects. And in 2023, there was a gap also because my predecessor, who had done a wonderful job, Mr. Rajeev Kumar, an IS officer of the 81 batch, who was also the Chief Secretary of UP. And then we joined, so there was a gap of a month or so to understand the nuances. We still had sanctioned 197 projects. Then in 2025 we said no, in 2024 we said no, we'll take it beyond 200. And that year we had given RERA registration number to 259. Last year we had planned for 300 plus. And we were quite skeptical, but we were lucky that we crossed the number and we had given RERA registration to 308 projects. This year we have already given more than 115 projects. In terms of investment, in 23 we were around 26,000 crores. Next year we were around 70,000 crores, and last year we were around 85,000 crores. This year we plan to cross 1,25,000 crores. And that would be possible only with the help of all the investors who are keen to invest in UP. And I am happy to mention here that 3 big players of South India, I will not name, who had very big presence in Kerala, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad especially, and Telangana. They all have got their project sanctioned, and one has, I think, they have already got 3 RERA registration numbers in CR. I have asked them to come to other parts of Uttar Pradesh because the local development authorities, as my good friend Balkar had explained, that government has very promoter-friendly policies, investor-friendly policies, and our Honorable CM is also quite sensitive to this issue. And Invest UP constantly monitors, and it's a single window. You can also, for any industry, you can go and do through a single window concept. RERA is using technology in a big way. We are also nudging you, pushing you to use technology, because those who are into real estate since long knows that both in terms of the construction technology as well as in terms of the material technology, building materials, there is a huge change. So we have to adapt to that, because with the new building bylaws, which is reasonably flexible and gives you a higher FAR or FSI in other states they call it, you have to go up. So you have to ensure technology by which you can complete your multi-storied apartments in a timely manner. RERA is also pushing from its 1.0 version of portal to 2.0, which would be, I am promising you, it would be whatever today you operate on 1.0, with the smoothness with which you operate, that would be at least 50 times more than that, and which would also have a powerful app which the promoters can monitor, and they'll get all warnings, because you may forget, your staff may not tell you that one critical document like QPR, which is the most critical tool of monitoring for you, any RERAs, that's the most critical, in which you submit your engineer certificate, architects and chartered accountant certificate. If you have forget, the app will warn you. Even now it is warning you. But then you will have in your hand, on your palm, your gadgets, which will help you to tell you and monitor and manage your project. So we are also going in a big way. I would request, now we should stop all unhealthy practices which were required. You didn't want it, but you were forced to, because of the very dull market from 2008, 9, 10 or 11 to 2023. The market was very bad, I know. Huge stocks were made on the Greater Noida Expressway, on the Yamuna Expressway, and they were not getting sold. Similarly in Lucknow and other towns. But now that is not the condition. So don't do any unethical marketing, which UP RERA has passed a regulation that promoters should not indulge into. Try to be as transparent as possible, because the Act envisages transparency. It is not only you, even UP RERA has to be very, very transparent in all its functioning. You have to do that. I am telling you, we have experts, many of you also know, roughly 127 to 130 items are required for a promoter to construct a project, especially if it's a multi-storied. A plotted may not, but a villa or this. And that much material management you do. And it is not only the construction per se. The direct employment may be 1, the indirect is more than 7. That is the multiplier effect of real estate. It supports roughly 127 ancillary units which supplies all these 127 to 130 type of raw material which you require, whether it is sanitary fittings or whatsoever. One thing which I would like to request all of you, that please now start thinking beyond NCR and beyond Lucknow. I'll surprise you, the most costliest property today is not Noida nor Lucknow, it is Ayodhya. It is 1 lakh rupees per square meter, one of the promoters' project. It is 1 lakh rupees per square meter, it will go above your head. There are new markets, Gorakhpur, which has come up, because Gorakhpur has also become a medical hub because of Nepal and Bihar. Lots of hospitals have come up, but they are small and medium range. Big hospitals have much scope. People thought when flights were started from Gorakhpur, an ATR may not get filled. Today 3 Boeings are going full. Boeings are going from Gorakhpur to Delhi. So Gorakhpur is one place. Then you have Gonda also now coming up because proximity to Ayodhya, and Ayodhya Development Authority encompasses part of Gonda also. The jurisdiction of, if I am incorrect, please correct me. So you have a lot of scope. When you will come from Gorakhpur, just before the Saryu, you see the development. And if you are traveling after sunset, you will see the brightness on your, at least on your right side of the road, when you are traveling from Gorakhpur to Lucknow. Then there is Jhansi, huge development is coming up. Lots of projects, lots of investment. Kanpur, Prayag, Varanasi, Saharanpur, your home district, Muzaffarnagar. Meerut, yes, it was there. But Muradabad, Saharanpur, Muradabad, Sambal, Bareilly, all these districts are now coming up in a big way. Recently, even in Chitrakoot and Banda, we have sanctioned a township, because at many places, as Balkar Singh ji was saying, that Pratapgarh people are expecting. Now there is an expectation of multi-storied apartments even in small towns. So there is a lot of scope. So please try to think beyond Lucknow and beyond NCR. I have many more things. I can go on and on and on for another 1 hour. But time is essence. As any in real estate project, we say time is essence. So I'll end my dialogue here, my speech here, because after this there would be another interesting session. So I'll leave something for that session. Thank you very much. I thank from the bottom of my heart that ICC has given us the opportunity to interact with all of you. Thank you very much.
Shri, I am member of Lucknow Management Association, also member of IIP, that is the Indian Institute of Public. My question is how this summit is going to address the issues connected with sustainable development goals like construction of energy efficient building and environment friendly building. That's my question.
Now, since last few years, the government of India and the government of the state has come up with sustainable policies in many sectors. We have tried to integrate 2-3 things broadly. One is how to capture solar energy and integrate with the housing sector. My friend, the Housing Commissioner and Secretary Housing will further throw light on it. Secondly, on water conservation. In the building bylaws, if you see, you may have still a question of compliances. But as far as the government policies are concerned, these things are in place of trapping the solar energy, conserving water, recycling of water. In some projects, some promoters are doing it, and in some sectors they are doing, because now we see especially the new 5-star hotels, they have started doing that. And in many such projects, new buildings it is coming up in malls and this of recycled water, and water treatment plant is now mandatory, sewage treatment plant is now mandatory. Though it is not the function of RERA, but when we give the RERA registration, we also see whether in their approved map from the development authorities, they have in their drawings and design and their engineering drawings and with the technical department, whether they have submitted their plans and they have approvals. There are some few more concessions which I'll request Balkar to throw light.
Sir, for sustainable development, first thing is that during given master plan, there are provisions to maintain everything like green belt, open parks, that is there. And then if we give license to any township, so there are the minimum norms of open areas, waste disposal systems, and even in group housing schemes, if someone is having compliance with GREHA 5 norms, so there is some part, I think that is 0.25 FAR is free just because of meeting those norms. So many builders are taking advantage of that. And in addition to that, if we see it individually, any house which is beyond 300 square meter, they have to have their own rainwater harvesting system in the plot itself. And solar system is also encouraged so that the people can use the solar light also. So sustainability is very complex issue, and it has to be done with the participation of public also, awareness also. Only making regulations and such things will not serve the purpose. So people are getting aware day by day, and nowadays this urban cooling, like providing more tree cover through social forestry in their own housing schemes, and even covering the roofs with tiles or some paints where we can prevent the concrete. There is a lot of heat during these days. You might have read in the newspaper that 100 topmost hot cities are in the world from India only, but the climate is like that. So it is very difficult to contain the temperature these days. So urban cooling policy is also there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Since it's our inaugural ceremony and we have
Thank you very much, and very good morning. What a delight, Rajeev, for you to have put this event together. Muskan, thank you very much for doing it. My dear friend Rajesh, what quality of speakers that you've been able to get in this morning, and big round of applause to the organizers here for putting together this real estate summit. I know it's not always easy to do it, and the quality of speakers that you've been able to get in. I mean, I was listening so intently, I had actually forgotten that I have to come up and speak as well. Is the depth of knowledge that Dr. Singh and Mr. Bhoosreddy showed, the maturity, the understanding of the subject matter, and the years of experience, guys. Big round of applause to both our speakers, and I'm looking forward to our next session as well, where we will get a bit more candid, with at least Sanjay ji. He's given us the opportunity to do a fireside chat, so it'll be interesting, given that RERA is a very sensitive subject and a very empowered topic, so we'd love to have that discussion. It is very clear is the way that UP has been able to come up, and the way that we're seeing India develop. A few decades ago, the world would search for the next big growth opportunity. Today, it is very clear is that opportunity is India. Whether it is the scale, whether it is the youth, whether it is the demand, or whether it is the infrastructure. So that is very clear, is that India is a story that no longer can be ignored, and it's no longer about size, it's also about the speed. Because the way that this nation is developing in its economy, the $1 trillion that are getting added to the GDP, every $1 trillion is coming at a shorter period of time than the previous $1 trillion. Very few large economies in the world have been able to demonstrate what India has been able to put together in a very short period of time. And I have no doubt that we will continue to grow. There will be hiccups as we go through it, through the West Asia crisis and the energy crisis. But overall, you would look at it, it is one of the few countries in the world which has got a huge amount of investable growth opportunity and the scale at which you can invest money into this. As far as UP is concerned, I must say is that the way this has transformed, it has really lifted up the full country's GDP. Previously it was only about Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore or Hyderabad. I can tell you is today a lot of what UP is being able to produce in terms of not only the population but also the productivity that it is throwing, is the infrastructure, the scale of investment that you spoke about, sir, in terms of the IT development, and Mr. Bhoosreddy said is about the corridors. It is increasing a huge amount of consumption. But the biggest point we ignore is, look at the population. Population in UP is greater than Brazil, it's larger than Bangladesh, it's larger than almost every country in Europe. Every country in Europe, it's larger than that, and certainly larger than many countries in South America. The way that the economy has grown from 13 lakh crores in 2016-17 to nearly 30 lakh crores, and by next year we're looking at this going to about 36 lakh crores. So I would say is that UP is no longer just India's population heartland, it is becoming India's demand heartland. And that is, fantastic, because that large state, if it can bring in the momentum, bring in the inertia, it really ensures that India then starts to move forward. What we are encouraged, and you're going to see this in the report as well as it gets unveiled, the lot of this improvement in real estate sentiment, particularly in UP, has been because of the infrastructure. The way the corridors have come in, Yamuna Expressway, Agra, Lucknow, Purvanchal, Noida International Airport that has now started, and dedicated freight corridors. That has truly pushed the economy in the UP forward. One of the biggest challenges that we had in the UP was that it was an economy, it was a place where people would migrate out of, not really want to come into UP. Today, the way the new opportunities have got created, we're seeing a lot of the people getting attracted, a lot of the youth, a lot of the youngsters, the talent getting attracted to come into UP. And I loved what Mr. Bhoosreddy said, is that it is not going to be only about Noida or not only about Lucknow. This opportunity you will see is, as the infrastructure continues to expand, it will be available in smaller towns, maybe tier 2, tier 3 towns within the UP. One of the biggest things I said in Bombay, we discuss, is that how UP has become investable. And BrahMos is the big signal that is being given to the international community, is the corridor that this is now going to be becoming a very strategic manufacturing base, and this is where you are going to be able to compete with some of the other states who have taken a lead on the manufacturing, and that is a sign to the international community that you will need to look at UP on the manufacturing side a lot more seriously. I do feel is there are 3 or 4 more things that need to be done. One is we need to continue to build transparency. Again, Sanjay ji, you said transparency, transparency, transparency. I do agree is that we need to continue to build transparency. I do also feel is that we need to bring in more real estate data system, more technology. Some of the other states that we work in, we find is that the technology has really advanced in those states, particularly as far as the permissions are concerned. So I do feel is that we will need to continue to invest in that. Second is we will need to further strengthen the local bodies. How do we empower them more? And the third is that we will have to create more investable products. If you look at it, the FDI that has come into real estate, other than Noida, we haven't really seen any significant investment. I mean, we deal on a very regular basis with Blackstone and Brookfield and GICs of the world. They are very keen to invest in UP, but it is largely limited to Noida. It is not coming out beyond Noida into the other cities, and perhaps some investable product will need to be built up on that. Overall, we're finding that on the real estate side, as Sanjay ji, you said, is that the economy has moved, the real estate has moved. India used to sell 1,95,000 homes, on an average 1 crore rupee a home in 2019. Today, it sells 6 lakh crore. So over 7 years, from 1,95,000 crores, the sales has gone to 6 lakh crores. Out of which, if we were to just look at Lucknow itself, is about 4,500 crores. So there is a huge amount of potential yet to be delivered out of 6 lakh crore Lucknow. I'm not taking into account Noida and the rest of the UP. It's about 4,500 crore. So clearly Mumbai does about 1,50,000 crores. Delhi does about, NCR does 125 lakh crores. Bangalore does 65,000 crores. So these are big cities. So the potential that you have in Lucknow is like 10x, 15x of where we are today. The second is since I would say 1947, the best ever year that we have seen on the commercial leasing was the financial year ended March 2026. Best ever year that we have seen in commercial leasing. 8 crore square feet of leasing was done in India. Whilst, leasing is a bad word, office leasing is a bad word globally because of AI, 8 crore square feet, sir. So Dr. Singh, this is like a big opportunity. The way that you said is that 25 acres, which is going to be a mixed-use development, 8 crore square feet that was leased. These are new companies. These are global capability centers coming into India. And when we meet up with them, we say, why are you coming into India? In like dozens that they're coming. They're saying 3 things. One, cost arbitrage, which we all knew. Second, that we are coming here for talent. And again, you said you alluded to that point, is that a lot of the talent is coming in from UP. So they're coming in for talent. Talent, not tech, by the way. Tech is only 27% of the 8 crore square feet that was leased. The balance 73,000 is doctors. They're recruiting doctors for R&D. They're recruiting chartered accountants. They're recruiting lawyers, automobile engineers. That is what they're recruiting because they're outsourcing non-tech work. Again, a lot of the thought is that, AI is going to disrupt it. Not at all, because this is all non-tech work. How much of it can be attracted in Lucknow? Again, Noida has become an epicenter. So you're clearly taking the advantage of it. But how can you bring in more on the leasing side? How do you bring in more multinational? How do you bring in more services sector into Lucknow? 8 crore square feet, can you imagine? That is the scale that it has gone in. And clearly we are continuing to see the way data centers are going, warehousing, industrial, hospitality, healthcare. In each of these segments, we're seeing a a huge amount of upliftment in demand, and clearly from that perspective, UP has a distinct advantage given the infrastructure that it has put in, given the population it has, and given the quality of talent it has. It is just that from our perspective where we are sitting, we find that Noida is perhaps the most convenient place. It needs to now expand beyond Noida for us to be able to sort of move on. I would end by saying is, if India is a growth story of the 21st century, UP will be one of the strongest chapters that we will see, and real estate in UP will perhaps be the most visible expression of that transformation. With that, thank you very much, and we are very happy to reveal the report that talks about what I have just now said.
आप सभी की जोरदार तालियां अपेक्षित हैं। जोरदार तालियों से इन क्षणों की शोभा और बढ़ाएं। लगातार तालियां आपके। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया आप सभी का। I now request Dr. Rajeev Singh ji, Director General, Indian Chamber of Commerce, please come and give a vote of thanks.
I think with the kind of positivity we have in the room and in the state, the leadership of the state really has to be thanked, and of course the officials who champion different sectors, different growth themes really need to be thanked for this positivity. We are truly thankful to Shri Bhoosreddy ji for gracing the occasion. He brings with him a lot of experience, and today we all heard his words of wisdom. It was truly heartening to note that UP is slowly going to have more and more growth hubs. Because what you see in Maharashtra or in Gujarat, the growth is not driven by only one or two big centers. It's a widespread growth. So that's really heartening, and this will take the state as a whole a long way. Going ahead, I recall a statement which was made by one of the bureaucrats from Maharashtra, and he said that we as Maharashtra, this was an investment conference and we had multiple states, and Maharashtra said that we don't compete with the states, we compete with the countries. And when Maharashtra said that we don't compete with the states, like everybody was in a way shocked. So I think UP also has a similar kind of potential, because it already has the scale, the numbers, population, land mass, resources, but in terms of growth and in terms of economic size, I think UP can truly compete. What you just heard, what Mr. Puri mentioned, that the area population is bigger than almost 40, 50, 60 countries in the world. I think UP definitely, and not only in terms of population area, but I think in terms of economic growth, UP can definitely compete with many other countries in the world. On this note, I would also like to thank Mr. Singh for sharing the developments in the housing and the urban space. What we hear is the tremendous and great work which is being anchored by him. We really thank you, and we are sure that your contribution will take the housing space far ahead. A special thanks to our knowledge partner, Mr. Puri, for delivering a very, very energetic and a very positive address in terms of the outlook for the state. Of course, we are thankful to all the participants and all our partners, sponsors, and everybody. Thank you so much.
I request Dr. Rajeev Singh sir to please present a memento and bouquet to our eminent guest. अभिनंदन में अपनी सहभागिता दें. तालियां जोरदार लगातार होनी चाहिए. पुनः अनुरोध करूंगी डॉक्टर राजीव जी से कि मिस्टर अनुज पुरी जी को ये मेमेंटो और बुके भेंट करें. आप सभी तालियों के द्वारा इस सुंदर जो हमारा ये मेमेंटो और फूलों के माध्यम से हम स्वागत और धन्यवाद कर रहे हैं, इसकी शोभा और बढ़ा सकते हैं. लगातार जोरदार तालियां. और पुनः अनुरोध करूंगी कि मंचासीन डॉक्टर बलकार सिंह जी को ये मेमेंटो और पुष्पगुच्छ भेंट करें आप सभी की जोरदार तालियों के साथ.